right. It is Wednesday night. Things are right. We have not lost a game, and things are woo, as Phil P would say, on the big ends train. I got my dog. I got my brother from another mother, and one of the best channels that are up there to just hit the 1K. Guys, watch it live. Watch it if you can't watch it live because my three brothers they break it down. It is has officially in the channel because that's four. Is the Magnificent Four. You remember that wrestling group? It was
Yeah,
Arnold.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, has is definitely part of the channel at the moment. Yeah, definitely.
So it's the Magnificent Four. If you big WW, well, it was WCW fans,
It's the
but
awesome man.
awesome foursome. So we got Has, my boy from Southview Coys. I already pinned the link. Please like them because, guys, solid content. I mean, one of my favorite channels. I'm not saying because he's here. I've always said it. If I wasn't here, home here, I'll be like, hey, brothers, great show, Has. How you doing?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for your kind words, Mari. Really appreciate that. And, I have to throw that one straight back at you because, you're throwing out some great content at the moment as well. And I just want to quickly say to the chat, make sure you show this guy some love. Honestly, like this guy's bringing you content from halfway across the world or wherever you might be. Yep. And he's doing a great job as well. Please do smash that like button and sub to this guy. Yeah, good evening, Mari. It is a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. It's a good Wednesday because we're coming off the back of a lovely win against Manchester United.
Oh, yeah.
And there's been a lot of positivity in the Tottenham community, as you know.
Yep.
And, all the signs are good at the moment. So there's a feel-good factor. The vibes are good. And now, as a fan base, we're looking to each match. We're looking forward to each match now. We want to see more and we want to follow it up, So, yeah, 100%.
Possible 7 out of 9. I want to give a big up to a couple of people, but before we give a big up, I want to, if I could pull it up, want to say happy birthday to Spurs legend Gary Mabbitt. He is a legend. I want to say happy birthday to the man. He is a legend. He's a legend.
Big
Trust
time.
me, we can use him now.
For sure.
we can definitely use Gary. For me, I've seen the flicks. I've seen the film. At that time, I was watching international football during his playing days. People know I've caught the tail end of Ledley King, another legend, but I've heard so much about Gary Mabbitt, and so a big up to him. He is club legend. So a big happy birthday. I won't scare you guys by singing, but a big happy birthday for Gary Mabbitt, and he definitely deserves all the praise in the world. So big up, Gary Mabbitt. Happy birthday, man.
Legend.
Before we start, I want to say hi for those in the chat. Jake, man, both of us are hosting. All right. We're both hosting. Big up, Jake. Battlefront, I like that name. 3SS Sports Picks. This guy has been all over. Big supporter. Big up. Oh, man. My partner in crime tomorrow, TJ, man. After you watch Has, right? Because they're 2 hours, I think, they start ahead of us. Once this show's done, come on over to the North London's hours. Me and TJ were battling out with other guests coming on and stuff. I think it's gonna be 3 against 3 tomorrow. 3 Gooners versus 3 Spurs. So should be entertaining. And thank you for the membership for 4 months. Lives rent free in Stell's head. That is true. Big up to Roy. Big up to Chris. Is this happening or not? Oh, it is. Sorry. Hey, Bashby Late is always great. Tot Spurs is also in this house. Big up, big up. Some fans go overboard after 1 or 2 wins. Oh man, we'll be balanced. We'll be balanced tonight. We'll be balanced. Mr. Sticky, evening geezers. He's in the house. Oh, Big Tony, man, always in the
Big
house.
Tony. Big up
Always
Tony Rodriguez,
real.
man.
One of my favorite people in the comments, man. Big Tone,
Absolutely.
always truth, always supporting the truth. Big up, David P. Big up. Yeah, oh yeah, man. I'm gonna talk about a couple of Argentinians today. Celso, Romero, Velez, free Velez. I'm starting the hashtag free Velez. Zafer, always respectful, knowledgeable. This Goonan right here. He's very, very fair, balanced, and knowledgeable, man. You have those who are extreme, and you got those who just.
Zafer, let us know where you're from because your name, it's a Turkish name as well. Are you a Turkish brother? Let me know. But yeah, big up all the Gooners in here as well, man. Honestly, some of the Gooners that actually come in the chat are some of the most balanced people that I've ever seen or I've ever spoken to. Usually it's all banters and stuff, but yeah, big up to everyone that's watching the show that come from the other side of the town.
Yep. Benjamin Foster is also in the house. Will Mari's back on the Just for Men. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. The Grays. I'm taking out the Grays. Hey man, I got a big proposal in 2 weeks. Though she loves the Grays, she hates when I color it. It's me who have the problem with the Grays, man. In my 40s and stuff. Chris says he met Gary after a 5 home win against Arsenal in 1983. Garth Crooks too. Yeah, man. Like the stories, man. Maybe after the show, man, people on the stream. Hey, if you have anything about, like I said, I hear from you guys in regards to how great of a captain, how great as a legend he was for Spurs. You know, at that time I was alive. I was maybe 4 years old in '83. Yeah. But actually, my first game was Argentina, '86 on my dad's knee. So yeah, man. Share the stories about Gary Mabbitt. Definitely. As a bald man, I love some gray hair. Yeah, my girl loves gray hair, and she's young. So upper 20s, and that's what attracted me to you. So yeah, man. So big up, just a homeless potato. Oh, it's Ethiopian, Muslim name.
Big up, Zephyr.
Big up, Zephyr. Oh man. So let's get to the first topic. We came in, first half. It was at first it was a little rocky. Bruno missed a sitter, and I'm just like, but back and forth. But United had more of the chances. But the last 15 minutes, it was all right. Turn on the keys. Let's get the engines revving. And that second half, we bossed United. And now, if you had told me a month ago we'll get 4 points out of 6, I would have been like, pass me what you're smoking. Yeah, like, I don't know about that. With a good chance of going to 7 out of 9 points. I mean, now, 4 out of 6, your opinion has expectations changed? I mean, I'm gonna say 8th, 7th,
Well, look, first of all, I just want to say my expectation before the season started, and this was before we made any signings. I said that if we didn't make any signings, we'd probably be looking at 4 points from the first 5 games. So obviously we've added Mickey van der Ven into the squad. Great young player, great young prospect, and it seems like he's got off to a great partnership with Romero. I think they've only had 1 full game together, and that was against Manchester United because, as we know, Brentford, Romero had to go off with a head injury. But since then as well, King Bissouma Yaya Toure reincarnated, has come back into the team. And young Sarr, his protege, has come alongside him as well in that midfield. And we've added the likes of Maddison in between those two as well. And yeah, I think they've made the world of difference to the squad, if I'm being honest with you. So, look, coming on to the game against Manchester United, I think the first half, it's fair to say that United had the better chances. Bruno Fernandes missed what should have been a goal for 100%. It should have been a goal. If you're playing the likes of West Ham and that opportunity comes along, that's in the back of the net. Let's be honest. So, they should have gone up. I reckon they should have gone up at least a goal up by half time. But that's not to say towards the end of that first half, we started to dominate. The signs were there. We was coming into it. And we was growing in confidence big time. But second half, this is where the Ange effect comes into it. Second half, words must have been said at halftime because Ange wasn't happy with that performance. He sort of said it himself in the press conference. They're not quite there yet, that the team are still trying to get to grips with this formation and the style of play. And, in the first half, you saw Tottenham trying to sort of, at times, they were reverting back to a mid to low block and then trying to come out, making really cautious passes. Mm-hmm. It's only till the end of the first half they really started to open up a bit, when the screw was being turned by United, and then we sort of started to grow into the game. But yeah, second half, look, they just come into their own. And there were standout performances for me. First one, I have to mention him, is Pedro Porro, because this guy, for me, he was a massive talking point before the game started, because obviously Emerson started the first game and we was all saying, look, he's got to start against United because Porro's just not that guy defensively. But second half of that game against United, he really surprised me. He really, really surprised me. His positioning was on point. His calmness on the ball and his tackling ability, I thought, was superb. And it was a case of, Rashford was nowhere to be seen second half. And that was largely down to Pedro Porro and his positioning. So, for me, big shout out to him. And if that's a sign of things to come, then it bodes well, because what happens then is we've got two right backs that can compete for that spot, So, yeah, we're going to move on to the midfield because, we have to talk about the midfield. They just bossed the game in the second half. They did things that we haven't seen from Tottenham in the last 3 years, the direct approach, the skill and the flair and the driving the ball forward through the middle. It was just all there. It just all come together in the second half. But, certainly 4 points out of 6, I would have bitten your hand off before the start of the season. Brentford away, for me, a tough fixture, one of the toughest fixtures you can ask for because they played great. Sorry?
Only two losses last year.
Exactly. Away, they are so, for any team, they turned over Man City last year as well. So, for us to go away, and I say it's one of the toughest fixtures because let's not forget, we're a team in transition still. We're a team that's just been gelled together. We threw in a defender that we bought 3 or 4 days ago into the mix. And then that defender had to partner Sanchez after the first 15 minutes of that game. Yeah. So, that was crazy. I got to give Sanchez props for that game as well because, he didn't commit many mistakes. But, we come out of that with a draw. And the goals they scored, a penalty, a debatable penalty, and a deflected goal. So we come out of that game heads held high. The football we played was good again in the second half. And to get another 3 points against Manchester United and come away with 4 out of 6, hey, I'm here for that, So you got to look forward, Mario. You got to look forward now to the next 2 games or next 3 games, winnable games now. We've got Bournemouth away. Yeah. We've got Fulham sandwiched in between in the League Cup. And then I believe we've got Sheffield United at home.
Yeah, before international.
So these 4 points is a very good starting base that we can build on for the next 2 to 3 games.
Yeah. And for me, my mindset is, I try to be a realist, but also I like to be in the moment. I like to be in the moment in the sense of, you know, we we, we have gone. Last year was such a horrible year. I I started supporting clubs from '07, '08. Last season, and this is the last time I referred to last season, was the lowest of the low for me. For me, I know people. I remember the Tim Sherwood that transition to, between him and AVB and stuff like that. But not but even then I wasn't that low. Like last season was very very low, and so for me, the first game of the year, I say it boldly, everybody's at 0 points. Everybody, of course, City's going to win the league, but to come out of 4 out of 6 is very encouraging, very good, very positive. Will we get pumped? Yeah, we probably will. I mean, the defense is still it's still a work in progress, but that's the key word. I said all I wanted to see was progress. This year, I said this is a free pass for Ange. This is a free pass this year. I want to see a progress. And so far, so good. Only 2 game sample size. We're seeing some progress. We'll probably get pumped when we play a real good team, but then again, we may be a pain in the what to a couple of teams. And the Premier League, it is tough. I'm not gonna say Bournemouth is a gimme because this is bar none the toughest league in football. You looked at, I mean, Arsenal. They got their 6 points, but it was a fight. It was literally.
They had to fight for that 3 points against Crystal Palace. Let's be honest. And you know, I don't like saying nice things about Arsenal, but
Yeah.
with 10 men to hang in there and get the job done, you got to say they've added a bit of steeliness about them, a bit of grit and determination. You saw from their subs. They brought on subs to Galatasaray's just scored last minute as well. Sorry, guys, if you don't know, my second team in Europe, in Turkey, is Galatasaray. So, if I'm looking away, I was just looking at them. They've just scored, made it 3-2 against Molde. So look, I think expectations-wise, Mario, I don't think my expectations have changed because, like you said, he's going to have a free pass this season. And if we end up doing well along the way, then that's great. But also, you have to remember that our pre-season was just shambolic before the season started. We literally had 2 proper games out of all our pre-season games. Literally,
Yeah.
we had the game against West Ham. We had half a game against the Sailors. Literally, there were half games because he kept on changing the teams. But considering the sort of pre-season that we had, I think we've started really well. And a lot of people will say, oh, why are you celebrating so much? So hard. It's only a game. You've only won 1 game and drawn the other one. But what I say today is it's not so much celebrating the win and milking it for what it is. It's just celebrating the fact that we're actually playing really good football again. We're playing football that's pleasing to the eye, and we haven't even gelled together yet. So this is what fans are getting excited about. It's not about, oh, we've got 3 points against United. That can happen anytime. It's the fact that the manner in which we're doing it as well. Big up Scott M, by the way, as well. I'm fully expecting the negative comments to come out, but we love you, Scott. We love you, Scott. Don't ever change. Please do not ever change. But yeah, I think it was because of that, Mari. Everyone's getting really gassed and excited because of the football that we're playing, not because of the result, so to speak.
Yeah. And I will say this, I watched the Big Six. I watch Never a Foul. Watch some of the other channels. And they had this one guy who's a big city reporter. He was talking about Ange. There is a excitement about him, you know, because even I was laughing because even Toby is like, he had the flip flops, he had the flip flops, and so because to be honest, I was just like, huh. But then again, it's now with the sample size. Clearly, we're not going to win with big name managers. We know who Daniel Levy is. He's not going to change. No one can change Daniel Levy except for Daniel Levy. Where have we been successful? Harry Redknapp, Pochettino, the coaches that you're kind of like, we didn't win at first. When we first hired Pochettino, I was like, who? Oh, the coach for Southampton? Because I was kind of like with box office. Like, can we get a big name coach? Can we get what's his name? The Dutch coach from gosh, was it Van Gaal? Like, I mean,
Louis Van Gaal, yeah.
At that time, and so, or I was begging for Harry to come back because I love Redknapp. This is where I like truly.
I think everyone's got a special place in their heart for Redknapp. Let's be honest.
Redknapp, that's my dog. That's I was 100% sold on Redknapp, and so, but it's hear people talk about a team in a respectful way. It feels good. It feels good. Now, like I told you in the back stream, in the back, like love the team, right? Stell says this: love the team, hate the regime, and so that's where the problem goes. I love the team, right? Team meaning the spirit, the progress, baby steps, but it's the regime, that I have a problem with, and where it's just like, okay, and we'll have to see after this season where things goes, in regards to this continuing process, because we hope to see if this manager has 3 or 4. We haven't had a manager that finished a full year, so hopefully we give this guy 3 or 4 years and just see where it goes. Mario, that's another legend. For those of you coming in, is
big man,
happy birthday, Gary Mabbitt. So, yeah. So has expectations changed? I guess my thing is, my predictions were the highest was 7th, and the worst was 12th, depending on Kane. We're going to get to this in regards to our front three, because that's the thing that is just like that's going to kind of be a problem. But before we talk about that, let's continue to talk some good things, right? The good things. Midfield bosses, our midfield bosses, and I will put our midfield bosses up. Mr. Tech guy that I am. This guy right here, who I'm about to pull up, it brought a smile to my face. I'm surprised he wasn't man of the match, because even SofaScore had him the highest, but Pape Matar Sarr, Big Papa, man, was he bossing it.
Love that celebration, by the way. Love that celebration.
Oh my goodness, yo. He had Casemiro like on the event. He had Casemiro. I was like, yo, some medical attention, bro. Medical attention. Like literally. Mason Mount, I don't really rate that much. He had his peak with Chelsea, but I don't know what's wrong with him. And Bruno Fernandes, other than after he missed that sitter, just whining like a biatch, like whining though, like gosh, But Pape Matar Sarr, man, this is good, and and you want to see more. You want to see progress. This is good, man. What did you think about Sarr's performance?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say shout out to Jeff Allow, Sarboy. That is a really, really good name.
Yes.
I love that.
Oh,
I love that. It's almost like a direct comparison to that lot down the road, Starboy. But yeah, I'll big up Ant Kakuris as well. Look, Sarr, I think he had a wonderful game. Obviously, come in place of Winks against Manchester United. For me, he's got better ability on the ball than sorry, did I say Winks? I meant Skip. Always getting those two mixed up. He come in
yeah.
for Skip, but for me, he's got better ability on the ball than Skip. And yeah, look, I think we just need to be a bit careful with Sarr. As great as he played on the weekend, I think we're always in danger of sort of building up these players, and then as soon as they have a bad game, it's like, oh, actually, is he that good? I mean, I'll give you an example. Kulusevski, when he first joined, absolutely tearing up teams. And now, he's on a run of bad form. And everyone's sort of saying, should we have signed him? He's not really playing well. I think maybe Solomon should come in instead, or someone else, So I think we need to give him over the course of a season, maybe to judge Sarr. The key thing for me, Mari, is consistency. If he can maintain this consistent level of football for the majority of the season or most of the season, then I'll say yes, 100%. This guy, he's a baller, and he's going to be a star. Because there's been, not only at Tottenham, a lot of teams in the Premier League, there's been players that it's been like a little sort of flash in the pan. We're like, oh, where did this guy come from? He's amazing. He's going to be great. And then it's just like fade away to nothingness. But I'm not going to take nothing away from Sarr's performance. On the weekend, I thought he did brilliantly. And he knew he was coming in for Skip. He knew, that if he puts a performance in, that place is up for grabs. And at the moment, I think he needs to stay in the team. Because for me, I think he's a couple of levels above Skip, maybe more. So I think, yeah, he's a Sarr in the making, not star. He's a Sarr in the making. And I will say this, Mari. Yaya Toure spoke really, really highly of him, and I've got the utmost respect for Yaya Toure. I think the guy was a genius. He was such a good player in the Premier League for Manchester City and even at Barcelona. So for him to say that as well, I think, yeah. And let's not forget, he was in that Mets team from a very young age.
Yeah.
And he was also, what's the country that he plays for again? Is it?
It's not Senegal.
I think it might be Senegal.
Yeah, it's Senegal. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was in his national team from a very young age as well. So, there's something there. There is something there. There's 100% something there. Yeah. But what I will say is, let's not hype him up too much. Let's give this guy a chance to blossom. Yeah. He's young, man. He is so young. So, everyone's saying, no, Pogba, Toure, It's like, calm down a bit. Calm down a little bit. Let's give him his flowers, for his performances against United. And then let's try and give him some more flowers when he does well. But rein it in a little bit, Let's let our players flourish a bit.
100% agree. And then this guy right here, I gotta pull him up. Man of the match, once again, back to back. Bissouma. This guy right here. We're talking the backstage. Because this one, for me personally, and people know my stance. I'm definitely Conte in, but I'm not. Everybody's subject to criticism. Everybody's criticism. Everybody, like I said, my dad says you criticize everybody, politicians, and even your pastor, if you go to church, right? You question. Everybody gets to question. My one sticking claw with Conte was how he dealt with Bissouma. For me, I thought he was kind of handcuffed because there were games where I would see Bissouma like, hey, turn the corner. And he would go backwards. He would like Ash says, turn on the pivot. I'm like, that's the Brighton Bissouma. That's the Bissouma I know. The one that schooled Arsenal. The one that's like literally he was pound for pound one of the best midfielders in the Premier League.
Hey, he scored us. He scored Harry Kane.
Yeah. And I'm like, were we hoodwinked last year? And I didn't want to say that. I said, you know what? As much as I love Conte, man, with Bissouma, I don't think he did him. I don't think he did him right. I don't think he did him right. And now you're seeing a guy who has that confidence back. The handcuffs have been kind of like unleashed, But people say, okay, it's a different style of football. And I will agree with you. And maybe that style of football did not match his best abilities. So now we have a manager right now for Bissouma. For Bissouma, I'm talking about. It has for him unleash, and I'm telling you now, I'm smiling that we've already paid 35 to 30 mil for him, while people are paying for for Casado. Like literally, Casado blew up last year, but before that it was Bissouma. So it's just like, all right, Chelsea just paid this much for Casado, but we paid this for Bissouma, and Bissouma is just he's bossing, man. He's as my Jamaican brothers would say, my brother-in-law would say, it's a bad man right there. In America said that's a bad man. In reggae, in the Jamaican culture, they say bad man, Bissouma.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. He's done his time now. He's been released out on parole. And he's doing his thing, yeah, exactly. Free man like Bissouma.
He was locked up.
I'll start calling him Bossuma from now on, because he's just bossing that midfield. So, look, he's a bit older than Sarr. He's got much more experience in the Premier League. At Brighton, I loved him at Brighton. How many of us watched him play us, and the way he just dealt with Harry Kane at the time, he's playing like, proper box to box, 6, 8, wherever he plays, wherever, and Smith, we'll get to Udogie after this as well. But yeah, for me, Bissouma, Jesus Christ. What can I say? Like 2 man of the match performances, first of all, that we need to mention that. Under Conte, I do believe that Conte didn't sort of use him because he didn't fit his system, not because he didn't like him, just didn't suit his system. But then it does make me wonder why we signed him in the first place. If he doesn't suit the system, why have we signed him? Well, that tells me it's a club signing. And that tells me if it's a club signing, then it's a very rare W club signing. So, look, we've got to give the club credit where it's due sometimes. Okay, if it's a club signing, then a very good move. 30 to 35 million.
Levy contract running out.
Listen.
Yeah.
Look, Daniel Levy loves these sort of deals, right? Where an opportunity comes up, players in like last year of their contract.
Last year their contract.
Can get a good deal for them, and he's all over it. He's all over it. So, like a rat up a drain pipe. So look, sometimes these deals will come off. Like the Maddison deal, I'm sure he probably consulted Ange about that as well. But that would have been a deal that Levy would have been all over as well. And for me, 30 to 35, considering Caicedo going at 115 million is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, right?
How much Lavia went for?
60.
60. Yeah.
I mean, that's, again, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This guy was in a team that got relegated, and he didn't start many games. He started a few games and come on as a sub, but it's ridiculous. Obviously, he's been scouted. People like what they see, and we don't get to see that side of things. But we can only commentate on things we see on TV. From what I've seen of Caicedo, I haven't really, I've looked at his stats. There's no assists from last year. There's no. If you look at the comparison between him and Bissouma, it's light and day. So there must be something these people see that we don't, when they're being scouted. But hey, look, we've got a fantastic deal. If he's going to put in these sorts of performances week in, week out, then I think we've got a potential, worldie on our hands. But again, I'm not gonna blow him up too much.
Yeah.
I want to see him do it consistently, because Tottenham Hotspur's biggest failings over, the course of Levy's tenure, maybe before that as well, was, and it still is, consistency. This is why we can't get over the line. During cup games or important finals, or whether it's challenging for league titles, we just don't have the same consistent levels that United or Manchester City or Liverpool has, because we can never sort of reach the final step. I think Ange will do a great job getting these people motivated. His start means that there's going to be very little sort of room for error now, because he's sort of set his stall now. He's put in very good performances, and he's going to have to maintain that week in, week out. And I just don't want him to be criticised if he has an off day, if he's not performing up to standard in the next couple of games. We have to keep with him, because don't forget, he's still adapting to this system as well. So look, it's a good sign. It's a good sign. I'd rather have him in there than anyone else at the moment. For me, characteristically, he looks very robust. He looks like he would bust the gut for the team. He gets back very well. He comes back into that sixth position, gets forward, links up with Maddison, links up with Son. He can attack the penalty box. I think he's got it all. I think, I'm not going to say a jack of all trades, but I think he does what he does really well. I think I'll go back as far as Barcelona, Mari, where he put in that fantastic challenge against De Jong, who would have been through on goal. Okay, but from the back, puts in a fantastic challenge, wins the ball, and then drives forward again. And that's what you want your midfielders to do. So, what's Will say? It's system, because yes, started higher than it did for even Brighton. Yeah, it is. Will, I agree with you. It is the system. And this is the thing, right? Ange has obviously recognised this. He's come in, he's looked at the players' profiles. He knows who's going to work in the system. It's no surprise that he started 2 games in a row now. But yeah, 100% for me, it's the system. And unfortunately, under Conte, he didn't have that freedom. There is no way, basically, he would have done what he's doing now under Conte. The dribbling around the penalty box, driving forward,
Oh my goodness. That sequence was him, Sonny, Perisic, and it was Udogie. It was just like checkers. I was just like, oh, I was like, okay. I don't know if you remember that sequence when they were in the box, and it was beautiful. But yeah, no, 100% correct, 100% correct. And now you think about this midfield, Maddison, you know what he's been doing. Already has a couple assists in the season with 2. You got, now that he got nicked, but now the big debate is, can Lo Celso be sold? And I'm like, okay, but if Maddison's going to miss 1 or 2 games, you got Lo Celso, who had a good preseason. Seems like he's producing some fruits in the Ange system. And then, mind you, you got Bentancur coming back. I'm here September. And if we could get Bentancur to come back, man, that's a deep midfield. What used to be a weakness, now it's becoming the strength. And I haven't even
I haven't 100%. I mean, Mario, Benjamin Foster.
Horberg.
Yeah, I mean, Benjamin Foster makes a good point. He says, do you think Bissouma will be as effective when Bentancur comes back in? I think to answer that question, I think they can complement each other. Obviously, competition is always healthy, but again, it depends. Like, will Sarr continue at the level he is now? I think if that 3, Sarr, Maddison, and Bissouma, continue as they are and they're playing really well, I think it's for Bentancur to try and work his way in to that midfield rather than him coming straight back in, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think everyone under Ange has to get into that team on merits, not on reputation or name. 100% for me.
Competition. Yeah. But Bentancur comes back. I mean, for Skip, he may be the man that's left out, and along with Hoiberg. Hoiberg is probably pissed off that Rodrigo De Paul turned out and moved to the Middle East because it seemed like Atletico was going to get Hoiberg, but now that he's not going,
wait, Rodrigo De Paul probably looked at who's coming in to replace him for what? This guy's coming to replace me? No. Stop that transfer. I'm staying.
yeah, and now we can't get rid of. I mean, literally, we can't get rid of anybody. We're talking about incoming. We can't get rid of anybody, and so, but
100% that you got to win the shirt. 100%, David P. I agree with you.
Yeah, you got a competition.
That's what creates competition. Look at all the successful teams. Look at Manchester United of yesteryear. How many players did they have on rotation? Quality players that can come in competing for the shirt. That's what it's all about. It's about competing. You know, when you've got players at a club that are very comfortable in their position, performance levels are going to drop. Players need to be on their toes. Players need to know that bad performances, they're going to be out of the team. You know, you need to create that hunger. And I think Ange gets that. I think Ange really does get that because, you know, he's done certain things that previous managers haven't really done before, in that he's not afraid to drop players. He's not afraid to, make the big calls. He's not afraid of egos or anything like that. Listen, mate, if you're not playing well, you're not going to play. And it's as simple as that, you know. So, yeah, 100%. David P, spot on.
Another good note, it's destiny. Like I said, I'm loving that other clubs are like, your Doji guy, this your Doji guy. But we're like, hey man, you should have been watching Serie A last year. You didn't see hey. You know, I'm almost like, you know, and like I said, baby steps, little steps here. I'm thinking, man, last year, why did we loan this guy out, man? Why we didn't keep him in? You know, you like the progress. Man, you look at the players we're naming; they're all young. It's good to have young talent slowly pan out. Yeah, you're on mute. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Around sort of experience as well, you know, just added in between. You know, you've got the likes of Sonny, you've got the likes of a few other players around the team who've got experience. I think it's important to have that blend.
Yeah. So it's been all good, but like I said, I always gotta keep it real. The front three. Now I would say Sonny played better than the Brentford game. It was real good. Created actually the most chances in the game. Kulu showed some oomph, but still not enough for me. And then of course Richarlison. Man, you know, I try. I mean, I try, man. I'm like, his play's trash. It's trash. But I'm like, okay, you know, I even did a prediction on the show. I said, you know what? If he plays all 38 games, at least he can give 10 goals. 10 goals. Now I'm like, damn. I don't know if it's a psychological thing or what's what. It's just.
So there's a lot of things, Mari. There's a lot of factors in this as well now that we'll go through. Before I get onto Richarlison, I just want to mention Udogie. Apparently, it's mentioned Udogie rather than Udogie, but Udogie for me sounds better, so I'm going to say Udogie. Udogie sounds a bit, I don't know.
Let's call him dog.
He's a big dog, but we're gonna call him Udogie. But look, Udogie. Oh my god, wow. Where's this guy been? Gives us something we haven't had for a very long time. And that's something that he gives us: is pace, is power, ability to get forward, ability to make up the numbers in midfield. Wow, this guy, I mean, in the second half, and chat, you guys watched the match as well, you know, the way he ran through the middle, you know, he took on 3 players. It was a give and go, I think, between Maddison or Son.
Yeah.
I was like, who is that guy? Like, wow. Like the runs he was making, you know, first half, I'm going to say he made quite a few mistakes in the first half. I think it took him time to settle into the game in the first half.
Yeah.
Second half, he was cooking. Once he saw everyone else how they were playing, he was cooking as well. This kid's going to get better and better, honestly. As part of the Italy setup at the moment, he's competing for that left back spot. I think Spinazzola has that starting berth at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. But I think he's the future for Italy, and we've got a prospect on our hands. But again, like with Sarr, I'm not going to blow him up. So we'll wait for him and you know, see how he gets on. Look, let's move on to Richarlison. Okay, Richarlison. We spent 60 bags on Richarlison, right?
Yeah.
I think the fact that we've spent that amount of money on a player, I think Ndombele was the other signing who was about the same price, at 63 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think his price is sort of dictating his starting position in the squad or in the team at the moment. The dilemma is: are we going to leave a £60 million player on the bench? We've just sold our best ever player, our best striker. We've just sold him for a record amount of money. And he's the only sort of recognised number 9 at the club at the moment who's cost us a considerable amount of money. Do we give him time? Yes. How much time do we give him? That stands to, you know, remains to be seen. Because for me, I personally think we should give him another 2 to 3 games. We've got a good run of games at the moment that are winnable, I would say. I know no game in the Premier League is easy, or even the League Cup. But look, Bournemouth, Fulham, and Sheffield United at home. My ultimatum for Richarlison for those 3 games would be: look, Richie,
2 goals.
I want to see at least 1 in the next game, and at least 1 from the other 2 combined. At least, yeah. So at least 2 from those 3 games.
Yeah.
Show me something, because if you're not hitting the back of the net for these games, we're looking to bring someone else in. I think we'll bring someone else in before the window closes. I'm hopeful of that. But I think we need to give him at least the next 3 games to see if he can hit the back of the net, because it's a confidence thing. Look, strikers, it's a confidence thing. If you get 1 goal and then you follow it up, you get that bug again. But for me, the thing with Richarlison, right, that really annoys me is his first touch.
It's horrible.
For me, his first touch is just non-existent. Now, in this, look, maybe in training he's fantastic in training. Maybe he's doing stuff that we don't see during, you know, competitive games. But for me, when I'm watching him, Murray, it's like the ball's coming through. It's like it's hobbling off him. You know, he can't control it. He can't track the ball. And it's like, look, if you're going to play this Ange system, you need to be able to A, trap the ball, and B, you need to be able to, you know, work the ball, you know, to your players around you and stuff. I just don't see that from him. What I do, yeah, but what I do see from him is a lot of running, a lot of pressing. I see that, which is a good thing, because Ange wants that running. He wants to press from the front. That's a good thing. But the important things that should be attributed to a striker, I'm just not seeing that at the moment. But in the name of fairness, and I think Ange will give him that, you know, benefit of doubt, I think he'll give him that next 3 games to sort of prove himself, because I think we are looking at strikers. So
let me throw you a curveball, and Smith just took my curveball. He just took my curveball, right? You guys know I watch a lot of Argentina. I watch a lot of South American football. I love the Argentinian league. My club, Boca Juniors, right? Got the kid, Boca.
That's a lovely kit, by the way.
Oh,
They always come out with fire kits, don't they?
yeah. Other than my Spurs kids, love Boca Juniors. Belize, right? I've told people because Tim Vickery, everybody swears he preaches the gospel whatsoever. So he wants to give you the bad side, but people forget he did talk about some good things about him. Compared him to Crespo, reminds me of a taller Lautaro Martinez, but the thing about Velez is right, and him scoring goals is he in the box for his age at 19 knows where to be in position. Like he knows he's great in the air, right, for his age, and he knows where to be in the box. His movement, right, almost reminds me of Vlahovic at Fiorentina before Allegri messed him up. Like great positioning, right? And so for me, I'm thinking, okay, let's use that Fulham game to see Valise, possibly do something because you're right. Yes, we want to win the cup competition, right? And Fulham is, another, Premier League team. But maybe that's the game. That's the game that, all right, let's throw Valise there. We'll keep our, starting lineup, but throw him in there because the kid has a good knack for scoring goals, being at the right place at the right time. Whereas for Charleston, I mean, he clearly missed a goal. He scuffed it. And I'm like, what can we lose? I mean, what do you think about my curveball?
Look, I think has Veliz even got his work permit yet? I think they were trying to sort out a work permit for Veliz, but look, he comes with a very good reputation. Playing for Rosario in Argentina, he's done really well for them. He's got a very, he's got a mature head on young shoulders. I would say the biggest attribute for me, from what I've seen from Veliz, is his heading. His heading ability is unreal.
Yeah.
We put some crosses into the box if he's, in that sort of central striker role. I think he'll get his head onto a few of those balls, if I'm being honest with you. But look, I think he would be a good option to bring on, I think, next few games. Let's not be too... I still say start Richarlison. If we're now sort of starting a young player who's not even proven in the Premier League, he's come from Argentina. If we're starting him over him as well now, that's his confidence done. I don't think he'll come back from that and him being Argentinian as well, you've got the whole Brazil Argentina thing. It's got to play a part as well. But what I would do, Mari, in those games is I would probably introduce him in the last 15 to 20 minutes and see what he's got. When the teams are a bit tired, get in the box, we'll float it through crosses over, whatever, and show me what you got. Because if he starts, if you're Richarlison, right, you've played 70 minutes against Bournemouth, you haven't scored, the manager wants to try something different. Veliz, in you go. We'll try and see, we'll see what you got. I think that would work a little bit better than sort of, actually, mate, we're going to start this guy over you. So, yeah, Preston Tabois or Tabois, 100%. We don't know if he's got his work permit yet even. So,
yeah,
if that's not been sorted, then he's not going to play for a while. And I know these things take a bit of time. So, and I don't think the club are going to sort of break a neck to get that work permit over the line because he's not a part of the starting squad at the moment. If he was someone important, then they'd surely break their necks to get that done. But yeah, I think bring him on as a sub over the next 3 games or 2 games or whatever it is. And I think that might work a bit better because you don't want to get someone, especially his age, too comfortable with, yeah, look, I'm just starting for the starting 11 now. You want him to fight for that spot still. and you want him to prove why he's potentially better than Richarlison or anyone else at the club.
Looks like an easy fight.
But who's to say, Mari, that doesn't spark something inside of Richarlison as well? Because
That's true.
these conversations are probably being had at the club. Where it's like, look, this guy's come in, he's looking good. I think you need to start showing us something because look at Harry Kane, for instance. He come in and took his chance, right? He come in as I think, did he start against Aston Villa? I can't remember now. It's so long ago. But that game against Villa when he scored the free kick, and that was it. That's all it took.
And the rest was history.
Exactly.
So there is some options. Now, I still mentioned Give Orban, though report says they're adamant that they're not going to pay the 30 mil. And then there's Lukaku. And then people in the chat, you guys are going to get an early preview before I mention this name. All right? Just in case we sign this guy. Jonathan David.
What a player.
It is not Jonathan David. His name is Jonathan David. Jonathan David. Everybody say it together with me. David. Why? Because I'm also of Haitian background. Jonathan David's parents are from Haiti. He was born in Brooklyn.
Wow.
His name is French. So it's not David. It's easy to say David. His name is David. I'm hearing everybody say it. And I'm like cringing. And I actually, funny story, I talked to my mom because in Haiti, usually last names tells you from what town they're from. And I asked my mom to ask, my dad passed away 15 years ago. And one of his good friends, his last name was David. And I was like, Mom, see if this guy have any relations to Jonathan David. And she's like, okay, yeah. And from Brooklyn? So, oh, yeah, they have to be related. So my mom is going to talk to one of my guys, my dad's good old friends. I haven't seen this guy since my dad's funeral 15 years ago. And going to ask if he's any related to him. But it's not David. It's not David. He's of Haitian descent. You can look it up, Wikipedia, whatever. It's David.
David.
Yeah. My dad's friend name was Yves David. Kind of like Yves Bissouma. You don't pronounce the S. It's Yves Bissouma. It's the same thing with Yves David. That's my dad's friend. So it's David, not David.
Chris Stone in the chat, he's cracking me up. He's going, "No, I'm British. I pay my taxes. It's David." David. I love that, Chris. I love that.
All right, I'll give it to you.
You try telling that to everyone in the UK. He's like, "No, mate, that's David." Like,
it's David. Yeah, I know. It's gonna drive me crazy if we get him. It's gonna go by David. I'm like, no, it's David. It's David. It's David.
I must admit, yeah, it does sound a bit like David Ginola.
Yeah,
David.
It's David.
Oh look, let's talk about the player because for me, Jonathan David, right? Jonathan David,
better suited.
Serious. Look, guys, if you've seen the match, the player analytics from my co-host Ashmatic, which is on Tuesday nights, he covered David. I'm saying David now. He covered David literally around 3 to 4 weeks ago. My God, this guy has something about him. Honestly, he really does. I know he's playing in the French league, for Lyon, but Farmers League. But honestly, some of the stuff that he does with the ball, some of the characteristics that he has, his hold-up play, his heading ability, his ability to beat his man. He looks the real deal. You watch him play for Canada as well. He's a handful. So yeah, for me, I think these are the sorts of players that we should be looking at as well. And Gift, on the other hand, he's scoring more goals than I've had hot dinners. So look, it's a tough one to judge because I'll give you an example, right? We sort of paid a hefty fee for Soldado at the time, who was banging in goals, left, right, and centre. And we went and bought this guy from the Spanish league. You know, it's probably the best league in the world at the time. Comes to Tottenham Hotspur and couldn't hit a barn door with a cow's backside. So it's hard. Any signing is a risk for me, Mari. Any signing from whatever league, you know, from Argentinian league, from the French, Spanish, whatever, it's always a big risk as to whether that players can actually perform or not. So look, for me, they've both got sort of different characteristics. Like for me, Orban sort of looks like that sort of bullish type of player. You know, he'll get in there into the nice little pockets, receive the ball, bang, no messing about, no messing around on the ball, just shoot from wherever. Whereas David sort of looks like he can hold the ball up, he can beat his man, he can take it to the byline if he wants, you know. He's very physical. So yeah, I mean, they've both got different characteristics, but which one fits into the system? That's the question. Which one fits into the system? What do we want? Do we want someone who drops a little bit deeper into that sort of 8 role, going back into the forward role? Or do we want someone who's out and out, I'm going to stay in that 9 role and you just get the ball to me? You know, what do we want?
Yeah. Big up to Scott. This is the only time where Canada beat the United States because, like I say, he was born in Brooklyn. And yes, he lived in Ottawa because he only lived in Haiti for 6 years. So parents from Haiti, they moved to Brooklyn. When he was born, then lived 6 years in Haiti, then moved to Ottawa and then chose Canada as his team to play. So if he signs for Spurs, you better be rocking that Jonathan David jersey for Spurs on streams, Scott. You better be rocking that jersey because now you have a Canadian, should really be American or at least Haitian. But yeah, you better be rocking that jersey, Scott.
But by the way, sorry, Lappers82 said we don't want another Vincent Janssen scenario. Just to let you know, Lappers82, Vincent Janssen did actually score last night for Royal Antwerp, so maybe we should be looking at Vincent Janssen again. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh man, I remember the days where he would just be right there and just miss those sitters. I'm like, oh, Janssen, man. And number, I mean, you bring up a good point. You know, for me, my favorite players, you know, other than Messi, are the ones that have, you know, the pace that go down the flanks, you know. And so, you know, when we got duped with Clinton NJ and the Kudu, it's like, oh man, because you know, you want the next we want the next Defoe, you know. And for me, Defoe is one of my, you know, if people say give me a top 5 favorite Spurs, he's in my top 5, Defoe. And you know, it's so you know, you look at, you know, Gift Orban, and you look at the highlights, he scored a hat trick, you know, in the Champions League qualifying game. It's just like, oh man, this guy looks like, you know, instead of to Bodman, you know, he looks like another Bodman in the front. So it's just, you know, but we got to get it right. We definitely got to get it right. And if we sign one of the two or Lukaku, have you heard of Lukaku rumors? I don't want.
Are we going to talk about Lukaku? Do you want to talk about Lukaku?
Oh man, I'll let you talk about it. I'll give you a quick 5 seconds about Lukaku. Hell no. Hell no.
You had me worried for a second, so I'm glad you said hell no, to be honest. Because that was going to be my answer, Mari.
Hell no. Please subscribe to Southview Coys. Like I said earlier, yo, this channel is solid. You get analysis, you get tactics, you get good, solid.
You get everything. We get great hosts, great. I was going to pick up the host, but look, we got great guests on the show. But yeah, you do get great hosts as well. You got myself, you got Marlon, and you got Ashmatic as well, and you've got the 4th member as well now in Haz from Hazspur TV, and we're bringing out more regular content as well now, honestly. But if you are part of the show, if you are a part of the channel and subscribe already, thank you very much for your support. And if you're not, do get over there, have a look, and see if you like what you see.
Yeah. Another one said it's pronounced David. Yeah. See, big up Igor. Yeah. It's Jonathan David. It's just
Funny that it says David, isn't it? Because he's got a white head.
Yeah. Now, if it's British, like Craig David, did he sing that song? I gotta get through this. Was that him?
No, that was Daniel Bedingfield.
Oh, that was their benefit. Now I can understand, right? Because Craig David is British, right? He's English.
He's British.
Yeah. So that's David. I'll give you that. But Jonathan David is Haitian French. It's just So this goes on to the next topic. Wow, I saved the bad things for last. A dire situation. I'm gonna put up some comments. This is where I'm gonna give a love tip. If someone in the chat or is in this situation, right? This guy, Mr. Let me pull up the comments because I want to read it very accurately. Eric Dier. It's a dire situation. Let me bring him up. This guy's really acting like a baby. Let me bring him up. Okay, let me bring up the first statement. Right here, he says, let that thing load. So he says, okay, Eric Dier says on the social media criticism, many people might say they don't care. And I'm telling you, genuinely, I don't care. I don't read it. You have to tell me. The only people that I care about is what my family says about me, what my manager and teammates say about me. The rest of it, I really could care less. Then he goes on to say, I'll bring up another comment about his future. So the whole ashes part under the field may not happen. Let me pull up the comment here. Yeah, this is it. Okay. Technology at work, guys. Technology at work. So this is another comment, the same interview. Eric Dier on his Spurs future. He says, "Yeah, I'm planning on being here. I can control playing well, being fit, training well, playing well. Those are things I can control. Those kind of things, contract talks, are something that involve other people. So there needs to be mutuality there. I can't speak for the other side and whether Spurs will give him a new deal. All I can say, look, I'm going to do what I can do, control what I can control, and try to have a great season." This is after reportedly he had a hissy fit, maybe because he wasn't named not only captain, but not even vice captain. What do you think about this whole Dier situation? Get the pun? Dier situation.
I look, we've spoken about Dier for a good 2-3 years now. I think on a personal level, I think Dier he's a solid guy. I'm not going to knock him on a personal level.
He loves the club.
And I know some people have done that on social media and everything else. But on a footballing level, I just think this guy, his time is up. He's not what we need at the club. His skill set certainly isn't what we need at the club. And for me, it's quite telling that we've brought in a 22-year-old, is he 22 or 21, Van der Ven, I don't know. But we've brought in a very young defender who has gone in ahead of him, and he's not even been in the match squad 2 weeks in a row. So I think his time is up. It's a thank you, but see you later, Eric Dier. I think he needs to sort of actively be looking for a new club with his agent. I think all these words are a bit desperate because, he's saying he doesn't care about what people think. He obviously, he knows what's going on, what people are saying, what people are thinking. And I think when someone comes out and makes these sort of comments, it's almost certainly because they're on the defensive, and look, I wish Eric Dier, was this fantastic defender that we could utilize in our team, but he's just not that person anymore. He's been here for what, 10 years. Started off well during the Poch years as well. He was a fantastic player. He started off as a DM, played as right back on a couple of occasions, played defender. But look, for me, I think it's done. It's done. He's just got to look for a new club. If he's staying here for another season to run his contract down, he's fishing for that signing on fee wherever he's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's his right to do that. But for me, it's just holding up the team and what we want to achieve as Tottenham Hotspur. And that is to bring new players in, to start a new era, to bed different players in. Him staying here, takes up a foreign quota as well, because he's still Portuguese. So by staying and not playing, it's more to the detriment of the club than people might think.
Yeah.
So, if you care about the club, you can get a move elsewhere. You're still going to get paid good money. But yeah, I think these comments don't help in terms of endearing himself to the fans. I think the fans have had enough, and this, it's not going to help in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, look, like I said to you, I wish he was a great defender, but he's just not. He's not that person. And when a 22-year-old's coming in your place, surely, I mean, personally, I'd be thinking, yeah, I'm not wanted around there. I'm going to get my agent on to finding me a new club. But
yeah,
he's one of these people, right, that it's a prime example of being comfortable at the club. He's comfortable being paid, comfortable just being there, comfortable with the whole setup, comfortable playing in a great new stadium, comfortable living in London. Everything's just so comfortable for Dier at the moment. That
would you say he's part of the last remnant of that group? He's like the last remnant, other than Sonny, who's captain, and Sonny, represents the club well and does it a excellent job. Where Dier was the president of the players' council, the same one that
the players' committee. Oh,
committee. That the same guys who failed, Poch failed, Jose failed, Nuno failed, Conte. That same group. And it's kind of like you gotta get rid of that old blood. Like I said, talking about relationships, like it's just like it's time. It's time, right? You served the club well for 10 years, but now it's time. It's time to go new blood. VDV.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we need to, the club needs to say, thank you for your services, 10 years, thank you, but this is where it ends. He needs to do what's right for the club at the moment. If he loves the club, as he said he does previously, you do what's right for the club. You move on. That's the nature of the beast, unfortunately.
I got bad news for you.
Yeah, I don't want him. Listen, bro, I don't want him anywhere near Galatasaray, honestly. We've already got a player that's sort of similar to him in Victor Nelson. I think Victor Nelson's better, to be honest. But honestly, this is a guy that we do not need at Galatasaray, honestly. But yeah, if it's true, I'll take that hit for Tottenham Hotspur, I suppose.
I think people are they're trying to wind you up. Davies.
Yeah, I'll take Davies ahead of Dier at Galatasaray. But yeah, look, like I said to you, I'm willing to take the hit for Tottenham, guys. Tottenham comes first. Let's be honest.
First, yeah,
100%.
I mean, I said that there's I lived in Napoli, and so Tanguy was there. I was like, yeah, I love Spurs. I was like, yeah, 7 to Napoli. But I mean, did you hear that he turned down Forest, which is another Premier League team? Apparently Tanguy turned that down, and I was just like, really?
Who turned it down? Tanguy.
Yeah, I'm like really? Like,
I mean, look, he had a season at Napoli. He's come back to Tottenham, and then Nottingham Forest come in for you. I know it's Ndombele, but surely you're thinking, wow, have I gone from Napoli, Tottenham to sort of Nottingham Forest? But then again, he's created this problem himself with his lazy attitude. You know, he should be lucky that there's a club actually coming in for him to take him. I actually think you'd do well at Nottingham Forest if you went there, if I'm being honest, because they haven't really got that sort of flair player that, you know, that player that can create something in an instant. But with him, it's the attitude and his application, which is non-existent. And of course, what you say, you know, the money as well. He's on what, 220k at Tottenham Hotspur. That's just ridiculous. This guy's been stealing a living for far too long. Far too long. But here's a question for the chat. Here's an interesting question for the chat. And for you as well, Mari. If there was a scenario where we had the opportunity to get rid of one of two, being Dier and Ndombele, which one would you get rid of? I won't judge anyone.
If you asked me this question a month ago when everybody was saying, hey, Ange wants to, I would have easily said Tanguy. But now that we're seeing the true colors, as much as I don't like Dier, I'm like, okay, if one of the guys get injured, we're gonna have to play him. I'll probably keep Dier because Tanguy is just first of all, if we could get rid of his wages, that would be good. But second of all, Tanguy could be an even bigger cancer to the club, and so I would keep Dier. I mean, I want both of them. I mean, this is bad, but
I mean, look, let's weigh up the pros and cons, Mari. Right? I mean, yeah. I'm sure Dier turns up to training on time every day. We can agree on that.
Yeah.
Dier still wants to stay at the club.
He's still in shape.
Still in shape. What else have we got? Well, let's talk about Ndombele. Late for training.
Yeah.
Too many late night McDonald's.
Doesn't give a
crap. Lazy as hell.
Yeah.
What else? What else can we think of?
Doesn't give a crap.
I mean, these are all facts, guys. These you know, these aren't things that we're making up. Honestly, these are facts. Yeah, I think. Look, without going into anything more, I'd have to say Ndombele goes for me, and Dier stays. As much as that pains me, but the wages that you'd be saving, you know, the space that you'd be opening up as well. Yeah. Scott M says, I 1,000,000,000% keep Ndombele and I hate him. Scott M, now this question was also partly designed to provoke a response from you too. And you didn't let me down. You didn't let me down because guess what? I knew you was going to say Ndombele. So in the back of my mind, listen, honestly, Mari, in the back of my mind, I was thinking to myself, where's Scott M? Where he's going to say Ndombele? Where is he? And lo and behold, 10:53, Scott M. 1,000,000,000% keep Ndombele and I hate him. Scott M. Never change.
Oh man, I thought that would be a tough choice for him. He said 100. He said 100,000,000,000%.
1 billion, baby. That's just like, woof.
I'm like, I hate both of them. I'm like, oh, this is a tough choice. He says,
wasn't holding back there. He was straight to the point. 1,000,000,000%.
He said 1,000,000,000%. It's Tanguy I'm keeping.
I mean, Scott must have a dartboard with Dier's face on it. I'll firmly believe that.
Yeah, no, he hates Dier. I mean, I'm trying. Well, I know a couple of people who hate Dier more on streams, but in the chat, I think Scott hates him probably more than most people.
Oh no, not for me.
Oh no.
Sorry. David, please, no. Let's not go there. I'm not even going to give you the reason as to why I think he wouldn't make a good inverted right back. Honestly, where do we start? First of all, he's not remotely mobile enough to play that position, amongst other things. But yeah, for me, that's a solid no from me. I mean, if you think that he would, David, give us your reason. Why do you think he might be a good inverted right back? I'd like to know. I'm open to ideas and suggestions, but in my opinion, I don't think he would.
Yeah, nah, he's not good. So it comes up to this question this weekend. We got Spurs versus Bournemouth. Um, predictions is a little bit. This is a little bit tricky here because I bring up this question and we'll leave off with previewing this game and giving our prediction. Lo Celso, next man up. If Maddison doesn't play, I'm still confused. They did the scan yesterday. I haven't really heard he's not playing like 100%. But then I don't know what you're hearing, but I haven't got confirmation. So does Lo Celso, is he the next man up? Does he play for Maddison against Bournemouth?
Yeah, I think if you're looking at the pool of players we have at the moment, I've heard a lot of players being mentioned that should slot into that role. One of them being Kulusevski.
And let me tell you, has the rumor about him being mad at Ange, it was a rumor. It was reported that it was false.
Yeah, no, I look, Ange, yeah, for me, before I get started on the Maddison thing, Ange for me has done all the right things during his time at Tottenham. He's kept his cards close to his chest. He's not, he's not put any pressure on the players. No one actually knew that he knew about Kane's predicament from when he first got to the club. He only disclosed that afterwards. So for something like this to come out, I think it's total rubbish. It's BS. Ange wouldn't allow something like that to come out. And I don't believe that one bit. So he himself stated, I think it was about 2 weeks into pre-season or 3 weeks, he said Lo Celso is a player that he very much likes and wants to make him part of the team. And we all know Ange, he doesn't bullcrap, does he? Let's be honest. If he says something, we listen to him and we believe him. So I believe him. I believe he likes Lo Celso. And if Maddison is injured, then like we said, it's competition. He comes in, does a good job. Let's see where we go. But look, if you coming back to that position, for me, I think that sort of 10 role, I think you have to be diminutive. I think the word is, for me, I prefer the smaller man, the more agile, smaller, someone who can drift in and out between those lines. For me, Lo Celso, he's got that stature about him. He's small, but he's also robust, if you know what I mean. Like, he can track back and he can do the dirty work as well, if need be.
Yeah.
So I think the natural sort of selection would be Lo Celso for me. Kulusevski, like I said, was mentioned, but I don't think Kulusevski would suit that role because I don't believe he's as good in smaller spaces. I think Kulusevski likes space in front of him where he can run into that space. Remember, under Conte, where you see the ball go straight through to him. He's got loads of, acres of space in front of him. He likes to run with the ball. I don't think that role where Maddison is would suit him. So that's a no from me. A quote from Solomon today was that he prefers to play on the left wing. And he himself said he would play in any position if called upon. For me, that may be a little hint that maybe there is something to the Maddison injury. Maybe he's going to be out for the game because if a player's coming out and saying, I can play in any position that the manager wants me to, that sort of makes me think maybe he knows something that we don't. So, yeah, there may be truth into it. If Solomon's that sort of stature, he's very small. On the wings, he's very Aaron Lennon-esque, should I say, where he beats his man. He likes to beat his man. He's strong. We saw against the United, in the United game, we just shrugged off Shaw, who's trying to hold him back. So he showed nice strength there. Yeah, I don't know if he would work in that role, but for me, has to be Lo Celso. If you don't want to upset the apple cart, then for me, he goes straight in there with Bissouma and Sarr.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think if Maddison doesn't play, you got to put Lo Celso in. Um, he would definitely be like for like in my opinion. And like I said, he will track back. He will literally be part of part of that bossing midfield. I don't want Kulu in that midfield. I know he has the ability to play a 10. I think people say that he played the cam role, and I forgot what's the name of the place, and even for his country. But no, I wanna have Lo Celso in there. So let's leave this show off. We've been an hour and 30 minutes. Please smash the likes, guys. Please smash the likes. And also go to Southview Course. I put it on the top. I'm going to pin it again in the chat. Please, guys, go subscribe, like, and also watch. Your predictions for this game is, like I said, it's tricky because if Maddison doesn't play, it changes it a bit. But then if Lo Celso plays, and if we believe that he's gonna be like for like, then Maddison will recover time. Okay, I hope so. What is your prediction? I mean, Bournemouth. Bournemouth is a team. I like to call them gritty, right? Because they can get a result on their good day, especially against us. And it's it could be a tricky game, especially because we're so excited that we got 4 out of 6 points, and we're like, all right, we're gonna get 7 out of 9, and then we come out with a draw. What you think?
I don't think Ange allowed that to get to the players' heads. If I'm being honest with you, I don't think he'll sort of take his foot off the gas.
Okay.
I think against Bournemouth, we have to play on the front foot. We have to carry on playing on the front foot because last season under Conte, we lost 3-2. I remember, playing that defensive football, allowing the pressure, so trying to soak up the pressure. So I think this time round, I think we can actually go there and hurt them because they like to come out and play as well. They like to come out. I mean, Gary O'Neill likes to play good football.
Yeah.
I can't remember who they played on the weekend, but they were quite unlucky.
We were linked to him too one time over the summer.
Yeah. Bournemouth's last game, they were pretty unlucky. They played well. They like to play football, and I think that's going to suit us because we like to play on the front foot now. We do play that high line, and I think there is a goal in it for Bournemouth as well. Simply, I just think they've got too many tall players, and we are. Let's be honest, we're dreadful with headers, with aerial balls that come in. We aren't very good. Let's be honest. Thank you, David P. Yeah, they played Liverpool, and that was a good game as well, by the way. And Bournemouth very much held their own.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Bournemouth very much held their own. But moments of quality from Liverpool obviously saw them come through. But I think we'll get a result. I honestly think we'll come away with a 3-1 win. So yeah, I'm gonna go with 3-1. That's what I've gone with through all the other streams as well. I think we'll pressure them. We'll press them high up, and I don't think they've got enough about them to hurt us if we're on our game. If I'm being honest, and I think this is a good. These 3 games, Myra, is good 3 games. If Maddison is out, it's probably the better games to have him out rather than coming up against one of the top 4 teams like your Cities or Liverpools or anyone like that.
Yeah, I have more of a scoreline of 2-1. I think if our front 3 or rocking all 3 in unison in all cylinders, I would say maybe 3-1 or 4-1. But it's for me, I get a sense of feeling it's going to be like a 2-1 victory for us. 2-1. And then
You're going to be quite edgy and nervy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're gonna have a lot of victories like that because honestly, I think because of our front three, we're gonna miss some chances. I mean, but if Richarlison could, let's see what happens. You could be right. There are players like it's like any sport. You hit that home run, you're on a funk. You hit that home run, and now all of a sudden you're hitting home runs. You're getting on base. Same thing. You just need to score one goal, and maybe it opens the floodgates. You know, not really for Richarlison, but in the sense of okay, at least it gives him some confidence that okay, could score something. But yeah, yeah.
Scott M says it has to be a Sonny Gattrick. I don't know what a Gattrick is, but maybe Scott M can elaborate on that. If it is a hat trick, you meant 3-3 draw. I'm not sure how we get 3 goals, but Bournemouth. I mean, look, interesting. Murray, would you take a draw at Bournemouth
Um,
away from home, or do you think these are the sort of games we need to be sort of accumulating points?
you know what? I would say, yeah, I would want the 3 points, but like I said, my expectations was progress with this club. I'm already happy. We got 4 out of 6, and so getting 5 out of 9, and then we have Sheffield coming up. I would have taken that, and so but then again, you're excited, man. We beat United. Yeah, we want to go to Brentford. Yeah, I want all 3 points. I want all 3 points. So it's just it's almost flip flopping in a way, but yeah, I want the 3 points. I
Yeah,
want.
I think we all want the 3 points.
Yeah.
By the way, before you finish the show, Maury, I want to say this, right? I'm gonna stick my neck out. I think Brighton will finish top 5 this season. That 5th spot, the Champions League spot, is going to create a lot of competition this season. That one extra space opening up, and I think Brighton, if they can sort of look, they've got European football, but if they can toggle between the two and play the football that they're playing now, I think they'll be looking at that 5th spot. So what I'm saying is, guys, if any one of you is a betting man or woman, I would put a bet top 5 finish for Brighton. I don't know what the odds are, but I've genuinely got that feeling.
Well, I don't know if you heard my prediction. I did 2 shows about their predictions. My dark horse team was actually Aston Villa, and they lost to Newcastle, but they came back last weekend and won 4-0. I have Aston Villa finish in the top 5. People are like, whoa, and I had them ahead of United. And matter of fact, now I'm looking good because United's first 2 games, yeah, the Wolves game, they were fortunate. But now I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I have United falling, and I have Aston Villa being there, but Brighton is looking amazing. And mind you, they're trying to get this kid.
Gabby
Um,
Vega.
um, Vega went to Napoli. I was happy. He went to
Oh, right,
Napoli.
okay.
Yeah, he went to Napoli. So I'm happy. But if Brighton, I'll be sad. But if Brighton gets remember this name. I've said this in two, 3 streams. Valentino Barco. This left back, this redheaded left back this kid has been amazing for my Boca Juniors. This kid right here will be the best left back in the world. This kid can tackle, run down the flanks, can pass, can score. He is amazing. And Brighton, if they seal him up, I guess they go for 10 mil. Oh my goodness. Brighton, the way they scout is the way you're supposed to scout football.
I think I think what they're doing and what De Zerbi's created there, I think is astounding. Like what I'm seeing from them, I think it's amazing what they're doing and the players that they're scouting. You know, some of the players that we've never even heard of. You know, I never ever heard of the likes of Enciso, Mitoma before last season. And look, no one's ever going to judge the players that are coming in. You know, we're never ever going to judge whether they're a good player or not because they are bringing through some fantastic players. But
I was
yeah,
telling
man.
Ash about this kid. Remember that face, Valentino Barco, man. This kid right here is the truth. The truth. He's the truth. The last time I said coming from Argentina to the Premier League that I said was the truth was Julian Alvarez, who scored a worldie against Newcastle. Amazing.
Yeah, it's a great goal, to be fair. It was a good goal.
And all he does is scores off the bench. He's not gonna stay at Manchester City long. I watch TYC Sports, which is the Sky Sports of Argentina, the ESPN. Real Madrid's gonna scoop him up, or Barcelona, because he's scoring goals. The rate that he's scoring goals for the minutes that he plays is ridiculous. Because he does start because of Haaland, and even when he does starts, he produces.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a very good player.
He's not going to be a City long. There's a very talk because he's scoring goals. There are clubs. They say Real Madrid's like, if they don't get Mbappe, he has the age. He plays the position. They're going to force City's hand. They're going to unsettle the player. And the talk in Argentina already is that, Julian Alvarez is good enough to start. He is. He's good enough to start.
Yeah.
So City's gonna.
When you've got a monster like Haaland up there, it's always going to be difficult. But I think Pep's trying to sort of integrate them both into the team.
Yeah.
With a little bit, sprinkling of Foden as well. But yeah, look, let's see what happens. It's going to be an interesting season. There's a lot of clubs playing good football this season. And I'm just happy that Tottenham's one of those clubs at the moment. So long may Ange Ball live.
Yeah. Please let this be true. Please let this be true. So you have 3-1. I have 2-1. Guys, the game is this weekend. Enjoy it. Let's enjoy it day in and day out. Yeah, I think that is going to help out Alvarez now that De Bruyne.
I think they've just struck a deal for Nunes as well from Wolves for 50 million.
Yeah, I saw that. And then West Ham just signed somebody too. Kudus.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, enjoy the game. Before we sign off, when is your next show? I know when is your next show, but people need to know when is your next show.
Yeah, so you know what? We're one of the only sort of channels that do an instant match reaction, or every channel has a reaction, but we sort of try and do it instant. So we will be having an instant match reaction on Saturday against Bournemouth straight after the game. So I think it's around 4 or 4:30 we'll be doing the match reaction. So I'll make sure you get over to the channel as it's down there. You can see myself and Ashmatic, we are going to be back next week on deadline day. We're doing a special show together.
Yes.
And we are going to be looking at players, different players from different teams as well, where certain signings have been made. And hopefully we can talk about any potential Tottenham signings as well. But it is going to be a deadline day special from us. So that should be a really good show with myself and Ashmatic. And yeah, other than that, if there's a match going on, we're on straight after the game. So if you go onto our channel, you'll see all the videos that are listed as upcoming. So if you put that on your notification bell, that will pop up straight away on YouTube. come and have a watch, guys. Honestly, it's a great channel. We're doing great things. We're bringing on great guests. Hopefully, Mario will be one of those great guests coming on soon.
Anytime. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm like,
yeah, look, we'll discuss that. Obviously, we have to, sign contracts and everything, and it's all good to go. But guys, yeah, please do sub to us. Please come over to us, sub to us.
Yeah, the show tomorrow, right? With Has.
Has does have a show tomorrow, but I won't be on there tomorrow. I will be. If you want to catch me on a show tomorrow, I'll be on Shelf Side. Has is going to have another show tomorrow evening on Southview Koi, so make sure you catch that as well. But I'll be on Shelf Side Spurs tomorrow. If you don't know about them,
Barry, please support Barry and
support Barry as well. But yeah,
what time is that show?
So that show, I believe, is at 8:30, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, 2 hours before, yeah. So yeah, guys, check out Has, but also check out I can't say the name. Outside Spurs. Support Barry and
Rez.
And Rez. Two great guys, and please support their channel. That show's gonna be wild. That channel.
It's always wild. Look, guys, if you want a bit of crazy, if you want a bit of something a bit different, bit out there, come over to Shelf Side tomorrow night. Honestly, they're Rez and Barry, both bonkers, but absolutely brilliant people. But also, I just want to say, make sure before you go, if you haven't smashed that like button for Mari, please smash that like button. Please. Make sure you subscribe to his show as well, guys. He's always bringing you great content. And yeah, thank you to everyone in the chat as well. Scott M, also, thank you very much. I do love your chats and your positive negativity. I'm going to call it. Yeah.
Big up. Yeah, no doubt, guys. Tomorrow at 10:30, after you watch a very entertaining, funny show, and a lot of Emerson Royale talk from Barry tomorrow. Definitely check out North London is ours tomorrow night. Me and TJ will have some guests. I think we're gonna have some very interesting guests tomorrow. So it's gonna be, we're actually gonna rate each other's, it's only 2 games, but we're actually rate each other's forwards, midfields, and defenders. And so it will be TJ, I think Stefan, so he's wild. I think Connor on there, and then I think we have Stell, and we got I want to say the third person, if they respond to me. Yeah, it will be a wild show tomorrow. It's always wild when Arsenal and Spurs are in the same stream. But yeah, support the channels, support the love, and this is a good start. It's a work in progress, but all I can say now is, come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs!